Good morning, dear ones. It's good to be together this morning. I have this candle as our chalice today. I hope if you have a candle or a light source of your own, that you would feel encouraged and open to stand and gather that right now. So we can light this light, this symbol together. Today, we light this chalice on the first Sunday of Advent in the Christian calendar. This first candle is traditionally purple in color, represents hope. And as Unitarian Universalists, we light a special candle this morning for hope. For our prophetic sister gone too soon, the Reverend Dr. Hope Johnson. May she rest in peace and power. We light this candle for the hope Emily Dickinson wrote about. Hope is a thing with feathers that perches on the soul and sings a tune without the words and never stops at all. We light it for the hope that seems like a distant memory from 2019 or 2008 or the 1960s or before that even. We light this chalice today as a symbol of hope, community, and love. And welcome to virtual worship here at River Road Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Bethesda, Maryland, now broadcasting from far outside the zip code. It is a joy to be with you this morning as a guest minister. I am serving alongside your very own resident maestro, Dr. Clif Hardin. And we have been working together for the past few weeks to create a meaningful service for you this morning. If this is your first time here, if you are new to Unitarian Universalism, if you are simply craving real-time conversation with another human being that isn't a work-related call, you are in the right place. And you are welcome to stay following this service for an opportunity to connect and share in breakout rooms. Clif and I are so grateful that you have chosen to spend some time with us on this day. So much of what we do together is an expression of how we want to be together in the world, now more than ever. So our brief announcements are really just opportunities to connect and live our values more fully. Next week, heads up, we'll be streaming live from the sanctuary. So make sure to check your email for links to both the Zoom pre-service chat and the service itself streaming live to YouTube. We're also preparing for our annual holiday music service on Sunday the 13th at your candlelight Christmas Eve service at 6 o'clock on the evening of the 24th. Mark your calendars and keep your eye on your email for the warmth of the season with us. We're also focusing our energies more than ever on generosity throughout December. We've partnered with Cedar Lane UU Congregation for the Better Angels Food Drive, bringing some hope and sustenance to our community that will happen on the 13th after the music service, with details in the e-weekly along with information about gifts for La Clínica del Pueblo and an opportunity to share grocery gift cards in $30 increments sent directly to our ministry partners. I invite you now to continue to gather yourselves, to settle in, to breathe into this moment and fully arrive and enjoy this piano prelude from Dr. Clif Hardin. Thank you, Clif. As opening words this morning, I offer this from trans author, activist, and social worker, Kai Cheng Thong. She writes, "We must love ourselves. We must encourage love. Love that is radical, love that digs deep, love that asks the hard questions, that is ready to listen to the whole story and keep loving anyway. Love for the survivors, love for the perpetrators, love for the survivors who have perpetrated and the perpetrators who have survived. Love for the community that has failed us. We live in poison. The planet is dying. We can choose to consume each other, or we can choose love. Even in the midst of despair, there is always a choice. I hope we choose love." In a spiritual practice of making that choice, all are invited to sing along in their own spaces to "There is more love somewhere."
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. More hope. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on more joy. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere.
Thank you so much for your patience this morning as we deal with the challenges of technology. In the midst of so much, we also take time, set apart time to make space for the joys and concerns that rest on our hearts. I received word that Tally Locke, apologies if I pronounced that incorrectly, one of your members holds up a coworker of hers who has lost 6 people during quarantine. He was at least able to visit his godfather shortly before he passed from COVID. From gun violence to the ravages of COVID-19, the loss he's experienced has been unimaginable. But he would appreciate the love and support of a community of care as he isolates for safety and reaches out where he can. I believe he is on the meeting today. May we surround him in love. As I mentioned in our chalice lighting this morning, we learned over the weekend that Reverend Dr. Hope Johnson has died and transitioned into peace. She was a prominent Unitarian Universalist minister and a Central East region team lead of congregational life. She will be very deeply missed, and she was surrounded in her final moments by family, song, and prayer. Finally, as we rise to encounter it all, the joys and sorrows, hopes and hurt of all of our lives and the lives of the world, we can find ourselves feeling pulled apart and isolated. The time has never been better to commit to connection. This week, we are grateful for all of the planners and the organizers of our Zooms giving, from pie baking to centering us in awareness of Native cultures, truth and myth. The program was created with great love for the purpose of building connections when we need them most. We hold gratitude for the technology that challenges us and allows us to connect. We are grateful. We hold the complexity. Thank you for sharing in the chat about the coworker. As you continue to center yourselves and hold those joys, those concerns, those heavy, heavy things on your heart, I invite you to breathe deeply, allowing your lungs to fill your torso, not just into your chest, but into your belly. Allow this sacred breath to fall into our lungs and our being, as we find a stillness in this moment. We are connected by breath and by the life-giving heartbeat. So in a time of meditation, I will play this heartbeat rhythm for you, this life-giving rhythm, this first rhythm we ever know. I will play it to remind us of our connection deeper than physicality, but our connection across time with our ancestors and with future generations. As we hold this time of joy and sorrow, grief and celebration, may we connect through our breath and through this heartbeat rhythm. We play this heartbeat in memory of the heartbeats that have stopped, honoring this drum that was once animal and tree. We play this heartbeat honoring the hundreds of thousands of lives impacted, lost to the coronavirus and this pandemic. We play this drum beat to inspire resilience in our leaders, in our youth, in our children. We play this drum beat for the strong ones that we forget to check on. We play this drum beat for all our lives that need this love, holding it. This love to keep beating through heartbreak and heartache. We need it to keep beating. keep this rhythm not simply on your heart, but in your spirit. The spirit of meditation leads naturally into a spirit of gratitude and of generosity, of giving back. This Sunday, we focus our gratitude through this congregation, knowing that we can do more together, knowing that the moral and justice-making decisions that are made, the loving decisions that are made, the service that is done through this congregation is made possible by each and every one of us. Our individual role is how the future comes to be. So as we enter this time, when we're invited to share our generosity, allow us to consider all of the abundance that we have, not simply in treasure, but in time, in talent, in presence, and in love. Let us center our hearts as Dr. Clif Hardin offers some music. Thank you so much, Clif. There is more love somewhere. We sang it 4 times, so it must be true. Have you heard that Christmas song on the radio yet? The one that's really resonated with me this year has been, "Where are you, Christmas? Why can't I find you? Why have you gone away?" You may recognize that one from, believe it or not, 20 years ago, the 2000 version of The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Now in 2020, here we are singing again about what the heck happened. How did we get here? How did everything get this bad? Where is love? Where is hope? Where is faith? Where is the holiday spirit? Where is connection? Where are all these things that were so familiar? Kai Cheng Thom, who I referenced in the opening words, shares candidly in her book entitled, "I Hope We Choose Hope, a trans girl's notes from the end of the world." She writes, "I do not have much faith in justice, but I have no choice but to believe in it. The other option is nihilism, total lack of faith in humanity, which I refuse. I think we must refuse nihilism because that way lies fascism. I think we must refuse despair and embrace healing, slow and imperfect though it may be. I am trying to embrace my own healing. I am trying to embrace my own painful, wounded life. As Adrienne Marie Brown suggests, I am trying to embrace growth and constant transformation like a flower growing in the poisonous radiation." Whew. I haven't made it through the entire book. I got it on Kindle just within the last week, and each paragraph feels profound and prophetic. She says, we must refuse nihilism. We must refuse despair and embrace healing. We must embrace our own painful, wounded life and embrace growth and constant transformation. And that's not just about having faith or belief. That's not just about having hope or trust. It's about choosing love, making sure love is in the room, making sure love is at the table, making sure love is part of the conversation, leading the conversation even. Dr. Cornel West says that justice is love in public. Love manifest in policy. Policy, something greater than individual human service. Justice is collective love. And from that angle, I also see love embodied as endurance, determination, resilience, growing right out of the poisonous soil of historical, even ancestral trauma. Love is that healing light that coaxes the green volunteer out from its temporary burial. Love is the gentle rain that saturates its roots with living water. Love is the grace of the transformation from flower to food for the hungry wildlife, and then all over again. There is a love that holds us through that entire process again and again and again. In recovery circles, folks say that they are taking things one day at a time, just for today, they say. And that likely feels resonant with many of us in and out of the circles or the rooms at this point in 2020, especially. I have felt strongly since March, at least, that we are all in a state of recovery. Recovery meaning this desire to improve one's state of being, whether it's recovery from addiction to sobriety or from illness to wellness, from loneliness to connection. We, like Kai Cheng Thom, have no other choice than to believe in it, in recovery, in unconditional love, in forgiveness, in justice, in restoration. And again, we write songs about this never-ending search and this sense, this feeling that there is something more somewhere, something we can't quite wrap our heads around. Maybe it's even over our head. We hear music in the air over my head. I hear music in the air over my head. I hear music in the air. There must be a God somewhere. Searching, hoping, singing, sensing, feeling. I believe that it's out of love that we do those things, that we have those desires. Another author, Michael White, I believe he's also a trans author, he says, people who perpetrate violence are not the authors of it. They are the instruments of it. They are solely responsible for the violence they inflict on others. We are all responsible for the violence in our culture. I say this to say, we have within us the love that is possible to love both the victims and the perpetrators who were not the authors of their violence. We have the capacity within ourselves and as a beloved community to pull this love together, to encourage love that's transformative, that loves us out of this place, that loves us into a vision of abundance rather than a vision of scarcity. Again, Kai Cheng Thom writes, we must love ourselves. We must encourage love, love that is radical, love that digs deep, love that asks hard questions, that is ready to listen to the whole story and keeps loving anyway. Love for the survivors, love for the perpetrators, love for the community that has failed us all. We live in poison. The planet is dying. We can choose to consume each other, or we can choose love. Even in the midst of despair, there is always a choice. I hope, she says, I hope we choose love. The words of Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker and the music of Elizabeth Norton have become an irrevocable gift to this tradition in the creation of the hymn, There is a Love Holding Us. It first acknowledges the love that is holding me as an individual in a way that I can feel. The way that we can feel the love that is holding all outside of us, holding everything beyond my imagination. It then invites us to rest within that reassurance, within that love. Then the tune returns and we sing together about the love that holds us all together all at once. The love that holds all that we collectively love and all that is beyond our wildest collective dreamings. This faithful love that provides us better rest than any Sunday afternoon nap ever could promise. This love that holds us for rest. There is a love. Let us now sing together. In your own space, the words will be on your screen.
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all I rest in His love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. We rest in this love.
Dear ones, may you go out from this sacred meeting feeling held by a love that will not let you go. May you go out holding love in your heart like pulsing lifeblood. May you go out knowing that our love is made possible by our connection. Blessed be, may it be so, and amen. Thank you so much to Dr. Clif Hardin, to Jesse, to Brock. I want to get my names, Brock Holmes and Jesse Delaplan, for all your help on this service. Clif, it has been a joy working with you to find exactly the right music for this moment. Thank you, each of you. And may you go into these breakout rooms or about your day in peace and love and hope. Amen.